This is an official art piece created by the Baki author Itagaki last week. However, we have some major concerns about the next Baki anime season and the current manga to break down in today's video. So this image was made to promote an upcoming Baki Expo in Japan, beginning on the 13th of June and ending on the 1st of July, likely similar to the previous I've talked about in videos, highlighting how big Baki truly is within Japan. But many of us are hoping for another big thing during this event, a release date or updated trailer for the Baki Dao Masashi Miyamoto anime arc, something that officially got confirmed to be in the works by the animation studio in March 2024, over a year ago now, with no updates since this trailer. This includes from the biggest anime convention of the year in Japan, where many series got their major announcements, including an entire panel from Netflix which had no mention of Baki from 2 months ago. On top of that, the animation studio that creates Baki has been releasing Sakamoto Days throughout the year, and is dropping the second part in July, meaning the timeline to announce their next major work coming lines up quite well. However, with that said, they have already confirmed 2 other big series that are in the works, ones that already have more information about their release dates than what Baki Dao has, meaning it's getting to a point that we all can make a pretty well educated assumption that the next Baki anime season will not be coming out this year in 2025. Of course, I hope I'm wrong and get disproven right away by an official announcement. Hopefully something comes out soon, but those of you watching who still have not begun reading the ongoing manga, you are definitely still missing out. But for reference, I explained the entire next season in this video out on the channel. But let's talk about this image which may connect to the current Baki Rahen manga. So as many of you know, right now we are in the middle of the Jack and Hanayama fight, something I'll give an update to later in today's video. And we just had Jack defeat the likes of Pickle and previously call out pretty much every major fighter within the Baki world, making his way through all of them. And the first person he called out after defeating Sukune was of course his brother Baki Hanma, a potential matchup depicted in this image created by the author. Maybe it's him hinting that this fight will happen sooner than we expected, particularly when noticing Jack defeated Pickle, a character that had an interaction with Baki prior to that, and then during the setup of Hanayama and Jack, we had another conversation between Baki and the Yakuza as well, building Baki up on the side quite a bit, with Tokugawa continuing to go to the Hanma for his input on current Jack and his next opponent, highlighting that he's the major stepping stone for Jack to really get a go at Yujiro Hanma, regardless of their many conversations thus far in the Rahen manga. So with all this said, maybe during the expo we could get some information about the future of Rahen, which recently has gone through a few breaks. There was meant to be a chapter 2 weeks ago, but that was cancelled for unknown reasons. Hopefully Itagaki is okay health wise, and honestly he can take as much break as he needs. He's been creating this series for over 30 years with a decent amount of chapters every year as well. Baki, as a reminder to those of you who still don't know, chapter count wise has more than the likes of One Piece, and is a series with some of the most side manga I've ever seen as well. Many that are ongoing that don't have Itagaki as the artist, but he is seemingly involved in the writing part for all of them. But now let's have a look at the recent Baki chapters in regards to the ongoing Jack vs Hanayama fight, with some important things to mention to those of you who missed it. So the entire fight thus far has been Hanayama landing this shot, his fist seemingly bleeding, then landing another one that is seemingly more powerful or more damaging than the first. Jack now understanding Hanayama's might and realizing that he's indeed bad news. Connecting to his fighting style, he forgets or doesn't provide any defense in favor of total offense everything is put into his brute force, unleashed directly at Jack Hanma's face, who may respond with a bite of his own again that could be damaging to Hanayama. But this brings us to a main complaint of a lot of fans I've noticed over the last few months: not enjoying the pacing of the fight, as 2 entire chapters have just been for the same result by the end of it. Nothing major or insane from a lot of people's view, which does require me to bring up once again that Baki has pretty much always been like this, especially for Hanayama's fights. If you were to go back to any other point within the Baki story and read 1 chapter every week or every 2 weeks, similar to the release of the current manga, you would have a similar experience. Baki chapters are very easy to get through, and a lot of them don't feature a lot of dialogue, highlighting that this manga is definitely one that excels when you're binge reading it, like many do to be honest, but more so the case with Baki due to the short nature of the chapters. It's by no means a One Piece that features around 20 characters talking in almost every chapter, an insane amount of dialogue that literally requires you to zoom in on each panel to actually read what's going on. Baki's presentation and layout of the story is much different to something like that, which does limit the amount you can talk about each chapter, particularly when nothing major happens. But of course, occasionally we do have those legendary and crazy reveals from time to time. Is this a matter of waiting for the release, which has been very inconsistent for years? Occasionally chapters come out week by week or once every 2 weeks consistently, but Baki going on breaks or having delays is a common trend and has been for years. Itagaki, after finishing the Yujiro vs Baki fight, took a break for 2 years I believe, then returned the manga with the Masashi Miyamoto arc, followed by the Sumo, and now Baki Rahen, featuring a non-consistent release schedule the entire time. Whenever he finishes a chapter, that's when it comes out. Yes, the end of the chapters sometimes features a release date connecting to the release of the next magazine issue. For the most part, these are accurate, but from time to time they're not, and just depends on what happens. So if you haven't already, consider joining the Discord. The raws and any information about the release of chapters will be posted in there the second it comes out. And those of you who are wondering when Baki is going to finish, Itagaki, in a recent interview during the time of creating the early chapters of Baki Rahen, confirmed that he has no intention of ending the Baki story anytime soon. Bro just wants to keep on grinding, and you love to hear that. And with that, I hope you enjoyed. Check out this playlist with all the Baki content. Shout out to the members, these absolute mad lads. And that's it guys, peace.